I have no personality. What does it mean to have no personality? To have no personality means that I don't have a cohesive sense of self with characteristics that endure across time. I don't have a personality. Not having a personality means that when I'm around other people, there's no sense of self that I feel that I want to communicate. There's nothing inside me that feels that it needs personal expression. There's nothing inside me that feels that I'm an actual person in the conversation. Really, what I feel like I am is a channel or a vessel of information, thoughts, and ideas and concepts, all interlinked together into a structured equation. So this looks quite different from people who have a personality based on narrative. With normal personalities, people run on narratives. So this means that they are story based. They have a life story. They will talk about their past. They will talk about their desires that are linked into their story and where they want their story to go in future. And this is often linked to desires and different sorts of projections that involves having a self that is tied to the external world, that really has personal desires projected onto the external world. Because I don't have a personality, when I'm around other people, when the spotlight turns to deeper issues, or not deeper issues, because I can handle that with thought, I can handle that with ideas, I can handle that with concepts, I can handle that by connecting to other people's thoughts, values, and ideas. But when it comes to my own personal self, there really isn't really very much to say. A lot of my ideas are based on what I have worked out should be probable values given the overall nature of reality and the state of the world right now, and also my resources. Everything is like more of an equation than a feeling, personal connection. Because I don't have a personality, when I'm around other people, there isn't going to be much of a path to connection. I can make connections, as I said, on the basis of ideas, thoughts, and by aiming to see other people's perspectives and to communicate with them from their perspective. But when it comes to communicating from my personal perspective, there really isn't really much there. I've come to see that not having a personality, it's not the worst thing in the world. It can be a filtration effect, because naturally the people with personalities tend to gravitate towards other people with personalities so that they can have personality exchanges with each other. They like to exchange stories, and they like to talk about how their desires are going and what's getting fulfilled and what they like and they don't like and all the rest of it. So they've got a lot of common currency. As a consequence of that, there's a filtration effect, because I'm not going to connect with people who have personality on a personal level. So the people that are seeking personality aren't going to connect or be drawn towards me in the long run. However, the people that are comfortable in communicating in the realm of ideas, thoughts, and more universal concepts are the people that I'm more likely to have future potential engagements with. Really, I don't need to share my ideas, concepts, or thoughts, and a lot of the time, I don't have access to them when I'm in social situations anyway. And so it's not that because those people are able to communicate with me in the realm of ideas that I'm necessarily going to want to continue a connection. I think what's important for a lot of schizoids is that we can communicate at our own pace, and this is why I think that online interactions are a good way of managing interaction. I think that whenever there's a purpose behind interaction, we're there, and I would say the same for myself. Though there isn't often a lot of purpose, when there is purpose, I will be there, I will be more present. And when there is purpose, it's usually things that I'm aligned with, things that the way that I'm structured in terms of ideas, thoughts, the way that I'm structured when there is a purpose usually will fit the situation. Not having a personality isn't the worst thing. It sounds bad, but when you look at it from a different perspective, it can seem like there are actually positives to not having a personality, because having a personality is tied to narrative and story, and stories are good and bad. And for some people, the story that they're tied to can sometimes be the very thing that stops them from enjoying their life. Stories gather emotional baggage. There are some times where I think that I would like to connect more with story, but not necessarily because I need to, but because it would be interesting to function like how other people function, and to be able to talk in that way that they talk, and just to have the experience of being able to carry narrative to that degree would be quite interesting. Having a personality can be restrictive. In many ways, having no personality means that there's a wider potential of being. If you are confined to a personality, for some people that can be quite restrictive. There's good and bad in everything, and so there are positives and negatives to having a personality, and there are positives and negatives to not having a personality. I think overall I don't really see not having any personality as being a problem. If other people see it as a problem because of my inability to be communicative in certain situations, or my inability to convey myself in a way that society is accustomed to, then really that's on them. Yeah, I'm unapologetic about having no personality, and there's more I could say about this really, but yeah, I have no personality.